Hi there, I'm Mina, and welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm currently trying to make more long form video content, and you're stumbling in to my first real scripted video. So bear with me. Thank you. Um, I don't usually script my videos, which you can generally see on my TikTok. Obviously, I don't here because this is my first real video. I guess technically, I scripted. Technically, I didn't script. Hello, Mr. Chairman, but there was a script. um, but anyway, uh, let's get into it. I want to feel out like the video essay sphere. I'm not like going to go into like a deep dive or like really like get into the meat and potatoes of any sort of particular discussion. This is going to more so be an excuse for me to rant about the current cultural zeitgeist in America and sort of see how it's changing. This is a lot less of a commentary on Zohran Mamdani or politics as a whole, but rather more observational uh, of what is becoming more and more popular in the political sphere, if that makes any sense to you. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get right into things. If you've been following the news this morning, mayoral-elect Zohran Mamdani won the New York City mayoral election. Even if you don't live in New York City, you've probably felt this election for the last couple of months throughout leftist spheres and even non-leftist spheres. Or in the very least, you've heard someone talking about it. It's been kind of everywhere, especially considering how it's definitely changing the way that uh, politics is sort of viewed, especially politics in reference to working class people. Um, if you follow me on TikTok, you probably already know that I'm a healthy working class enjoyer who wants to see the American people succeed fruitfully in one of the wealthiest nations on earth. Um, and it's very important to me that we move away from cultural resentment that MAGA and other right leaning groups promote, and really sink our claws into a more hopeful, diverse, and economically stable future, especially as the class divide continues to grow. Um, like, a lot of the zeitgeist of politics is changing at the moment, as you can probably tell. And if you asked, why exactly are we talking about Zohran Mamdani outside of New York City? It is 110% because his campaign being so like center focused on American issues uh, paints us a very good picture of what the priorities of voters are right now, which are the economy. It's just the economy. And considering so many of the other Democratic elects pushed so heavily on a international dispute and talked about like continuing to like militarize police, et cetera, et cetera. This sort of like uh, I care about the affordability of New York City was a breath of fresh air, I'm sure, for a lot of Americans, not just New Yorkers. Um, so, amidst the current American affordability crisis, the working class is pretty restless, and that's why he's popular. New York City's mayoral election with a figure like Mamdani as a democratic socialist is showing us this shifting value of American working class from caring heavily about international politics and caring more so toward domestic economy issues, domestic politics, affordability, friggin' uh, accessibility, so on and so forth. Just this more realistic reality for working people. This like these changes that can be implemented and should be implemented that would make New York City more livable for the average Joe, as opposed to Mamdani if he was participating more so in these like neoliberal talking points that have been very popular among Democrats in the last several decades. This is all a part of the changing zeitgeist in America. Mamdani campaigned on affordability, the working class, at a time where everybody was paying attention to everything else. That being, while the Israel-Palestine discussion is an important one to have, maybe campaigning for a like seat politically on it in a city that is currently amidst a economic recession isn't the best move. Just throwing that one out there. This election in New York shows a change in the way Americans are like feeling. Working class people, now more often than ever, on both sides of the political spectrum, are cutting through the rhetoric. And now people are putting their votes toward the American economy as opposed to like preference. I think that this really is kind of the end of identity politics, because identity politics wasn't going to survive very long anyway. So we as a collective have generally, at least in my experience with a lot of the American people, especially those who go outside, a lot of people have lost faith in the national scale of politics, the presidential seats, et cetera, et cetera. And now the venue for economic change has sort of defaulted onto local politics. And this has become more of a centerpiece of our political focus because it's become less realistic to talk about national politics, and it has become like there's a level of hopelessness, at least in the older generation, or the older half of Gen Z, about the value of voting on a national scale. At least, in the very least, in the little adulthood I have, as a 22-year-old woman, the fact that the only two like elections that I have consciously witnessed in my entire life have been pretty not real in my head. I feel for some reason like no matter what I do, my vote doesn't matter. And like, sure, I guess. I don't know. But I feel like a lot of people share similar sentiments about my vote doesn't matter on a national scale, et cetera, but you feel generally probably more like you have control over more local politics, and that your vote probably matters more. Maybe not in New York City, but like definitely locally. But a lot of left-leaning elects have won out this season, from what I've heard. And I think that that is a pretty good and positive change, possibly, as we approach the 2026 midterms. While major cities are historically blue, hopefully these elections continue to popularize a lean towards class solidarity, especially outside of New York City. Hopefully, New York City's electing of Mamdani is an overall positive one. I do hope the best for New York, and I hope that New York does sit as like a positive um uh, hopefully this like popularizes it enough to where America will sort of come back, snap back to its senses, and become more economically concerned, which does seem to be happening, but only time will tell if this momentum will persist, obviously. In the wake of revoked SNAP benefits and the government shutdown that has spanned a month now, Americans need assistance programs like the ones Mamdani has been campaigning on the whole time. The gaps between the economic classes are widening, and it's becoming impossible to ignore. And as Americans are becoming more and more privy to this reality, the more they'll start leaning into systems that focus on them individually in their daily lives, and the like external distractions, even though a concern, not a primary one, will stop working on them. Especially the like distractions, like the culture wars, stuff like that, that the right is continuing to persist. Um, Eventually, or sooner rather than later, despite how hard it pushes, people are going to be upset that they can't buy a carton of milk. And people are going to become more concerned with affordability than I don't know, some stupid made up culture war bullshit. There's something to be said about the president's construction projects um, going on amidst a government shutdown. And probably, I'm so sorry for being so low energy. I've been working on this all day. But yeah, there's probably something to say about a Great Gatsby themed party at a at a Florida mansion. Crazy work. Um, and in the middle of a government shutdown. I'm sorry. Is this not bonkers to anyone else that they're like rebuilding an entire section of the White House? Like first it's the patio, now this, but this is in the middle of a government shutdown. Are those people getting paid? Are they getting paid for this? I assume they're contract workers. I hope they're getting paid. but but anyway, um a lot of Americans are sort of seeing this like show of wealth as being pretty much a spit in the face in the middle of the recession. Um Especially considering like the only people who are like actually gaining money and like uh getting paid from a source that isn't like some predatory corporation are the ones not getting paid right now. That's crazy. That's bonkers. I mean, predatory corporation, the U.S. government, same difference, kind of, at the moment, and probably always, potentially. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified to really make that determination. Um, but like, it, bro, the White House, the President of the United States, kind of on his Marie Antoinette arc. Kinda, a smidgen on his Marie Antoinette arc. Um, the Americans that have been paying attention, I'm sorry. um, this sort of like reckless spending in front of like all of America. Um, the working class people have found solidarity for it before, they will find it again. Um, I do hope overall that Mamdani's election, in the very least, is ultimately positive. His campaign leaning toward workers and the benefits of workers and the concerns of workers feels hopeful to me. And I hope that it makes it clear to other elects and other campaigners that working class issues are a priority, um, especially, obviously, for working class people. This is what working class people want, is for people in positions of power to know what it's like to be members of the working class. That's what keeps it from that's what keeps it from a top-down issue. You can have left and right infighting so long as there are working class peoples in positions of power. You cannot have left and right infighting when it is a top-down problem. Anyway, uh, thanks. Despite the serious tone of the video, thanks for watching. If you like this, leave a comment below. Uh, leave a like, help me a ton. I don't think all of my videos will be like this. This is definitely like low energy, sort of talking at a camera. But I do want to do more like upbeat and similar style of like essay-esque content where I'm just kind of talking in front of a camera. But I'm still sort of feeling out the tone and the energy of the content I want to make. So thanks. Thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope that maybe you had this running in the background. Maybe you've been playing friggin' I don't know. Where's Waldo in my background. In my background, not your background. But if you like how I sound and what I talk about, maybe subscribe. Maybe subscribe. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty sick and sweet. And if you want more stuff like this, even if it's like this tone and you like really like that I've been like really really like low energy the whole time, just let me know. Just you know. I have some ideas for things I want to cover. Maybe more silly things. Maybe less less political. But let me know, Pookie. So thank you, and bye bye now. Bye.